Gerry has done is allowed us to go behind the scenes to say, how do you do that? And consistently for 20 years, I've seen Gerry do that. And I'm very honored that I'm going to be at your event next weekend, God willing, and I'm honored to be on the phone tonight. So, Gerry, please share with us your secrets on how we can all become better marketers and better writers.
Well, thank you so much. That was Barry Spilchuk. I see that there's still people signing in as we are starting. Barry is one of the first Canadians involved in the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, a good friend of mine. And, you know, Barry, it's been so good to know you and see your work over the past 20 years or longer. And so I'm thrilled that you're here. I'm thrilled you're coming to a class next week. And so let's get started with this, folks. I've been, as he mentioned, as Barry mentioned, I've been doing this for a long time. I wrote my first book in 1988. It was a long time ago. And that book, Conquering Life's Obstacles, was responsible for me receiving a lot of publicity and catapulting my business. And so when I think about what a book can do for you, it's very, with a lot of emotion and passion that I believe that a book will change your life. My book was endorsed by Norman Vincent Peale and Robert Schuller and Zig Ziglar and Ken Blanchard. That gave me unbelievable amount of publicity, and that publicity I was able to allow that to change my whole perspective on business. And what I was able to do in my 20s is by making some shifts in my thinking, take my income from $100,000 a year to $100,000 in a month. I started to make over $1 million in a single year while I was in my 20s. I've since done that much, $1 million in a month. In fact, I've done that in a week. And if you need to know, I've done it twice in one weekend. So what I'm going to talk to you about works. There are so many people on the internet today who are teaching people how to get books and so on, and they've never really done it themselves. You know, Barry Spilchuk has sold more than 500,000 books, and he's still on the line. He's still a friend. He's still attending classes. And that kind of results occurred because I found a mentor, and I did what he said. One of the things he asked me was, are you serious? And I want to start tonight's webinar by asking you, are you serious? Are you serious about making a significant shift in your life? And if you are, then this webinar, using a book, can significantly alter your life, as it did mine, as it did Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen and Barry Spilchuk and a bunch of other, really thousands of other people. In fact, all of the books that you're going to see here are books that I have personally coached or mentored or people who have come to my seminars. And I will be talking to you about my seminar at the end of tonight's presentation. We made a bit of a mistake, though, because we thought we had about 10 seats left, and there are only 2. And we've got so many people on the line that we can only take 2. So it's one of those things when you're marketing, when you don't really need to market anymore, because with all the myriad of people on this call, those 2 seats are going to be gone. But I still am going to give you lots of good information. And it starts with the idea that you should think about using a book in different ways than you may have thought. For example, one of the guys who attended this seminar is John Sultan from Australia. John was able to get up in a seminar, my last trip to Australia. He stood up in front of that huge crowd, 500 people, and said that his book was directly responsible for over $2 million of increased sales in his contracting business. You see, because he was viewed as an expert. So if you're in business today, you might want to think about using a book for a different reason, and that reason could be to use a book as a marketing tool. One of the ladies who attended our seminars and whose book I published was Cynthia Barnett. I showed her how to use a book to get featured in Time magazine. Now, she was a coach. She was a teacher, and she became a life coach. And I said to her, well, if you're going to do that, you need publicity and credibility. And so I was able to use one technique that I'm going to teach at this seminar, and she got into Time magazine. Rosita Sherry uses her book as a prospecting tool. She went from 15 calls a week with her marketing to 500 leads a week because she was giving away a book as a marketing tool. It is phenomenal for prospecting. It's a phenomenal tool to separate yourself from everybody else who does what you do. Jean Ann Durrell is a financial advisor in Tarpon Springs, Florida, and I got a call from her one day, and she said that she had earned $80,000 the month previous. That month was a month of August. She says nobody makes $80,000 in a month of August except when you have a book. And she attributes that success to a book. A book has an ability to recruit if you're in a business or you're involved in recruiting people or influencing others to take action. David Ogunagi was able to use his book to attract thousands of people to his network marketing company. His book is called The Millionaire Genius. So what you got to do, though, is you got to avoid the mistakes. You got to watch these three things. Now, there are a number of mistakes you can avoid. I'm going to talk about a few of them, three in particular, three of the biggest ones that I see. Then I'm going to talk to you about 8 steps to publishing success. I'm going to give you the 8 steps. Whether you come to my seminar or not, this will be of tremendous value to you because it'll show you exactly what you've got to do and what's important when it comes to making a profit or increased revenue using a book. And then at the very end, I'm going to talk about my system on how to write a book in 40 hours. And this is just going to floor you. This will be, very, very powerful for you, and we're going to cover that. And at the end, I'm going to talk to you about my seminar because there's a couple of you who are going to come from tonight's webcast. And wait till you see what we're going to do about the price. All right. Mistake number 1, you've got to avoid the wrong focus. And what I mean by the wrong focus, and that is only thinking about income through book sales. Can you make money selling books? Well, just ask Barry Stochek or Jack Canfield or all these other guys. Yes, I can make money selling a book, but I can make a far greater amount of money using a book. And I think that one of the things that most people do is that they're all involved in the wrong focus. That is, they're focusing primarily on author stuff, traditional author stuff, instead of focusing in on marketing. The thing about Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen from Chicken Soup for the Soul were friends of mine and Barry's and others on this call. They understood marketing. Heck, they barely wrote a word themselves. You see, their focus was on getting rid of the book. Most people I talk to are focused on getting the book. So they're worried about the content and feel that it has to be perfect, and they have to have what I call, the absolute best, world-changing, industry-revolutionizing, cataclysmic, totally innovative, earth-shattering content. So that gives them a literary genius complex. They feel like they can't write anything because they're so focused on making sure that what they write is perfect. Get out of here. You don't have to worry about that. So I tell people getting the book is the easy part. Getting rid of it, that's the challenge. And so first of all, you want to avoid the wrong focus. And the wrong focus primarily is getting money from book sales only. J. Conrad Livingston said this. He said it really well. He said, someone once asked me how much money I made from my first book. The answer I gave was $10 million. The book itself only paid me $35,000 in royalties. But speaking engagements, spin-off books, newsletters, columns, boot camps, consulting, and wide open doors resulted in the remaining $9,965,000. You see, it's not about the book sales itself, because that you can do fine. It's a matter of using the book then to do other things. You can make $10 selling a book, but you can make $10,000 doing a seminar. Within the first 2 weeks of this year, I had 4 people pay me, sign contracts for me for $150,000 each to consult with them. Now, of course, I know what I'm talking about, and I've got a lot of, it's not just because I have a book, but I'm telling you something that I would never have generated that revenue, in my opinion, without a book. Okay, mistake number 2, poor quality. And what I mean by that is bad writing. Now, it may sound like I'm contradicting myself in the first point, but it's not. You can get somebody to make it perfect. So you want to avoid bad quality, like an ugly cover. You need to spend $2,000 to $3,000 easily on a cover. Some people will spend twice that. You cannot make a book cheap looking. Sometimes books that I see actually hurt people because it really takes away from their position of authority and credibility. So you want to make sure that everything you do in that book is really, really high quality. Another big thing, and it's one that many of you will agree with, and that is listening to the wrong people. There are so many people today who listen to consultants, go to seminars, and listen to people who've never really done it. I can point out at least 5 people who are selling publishing services or writing a book services on the internet today who learned what they learned at my seminar. So you've got to ask yourself, what are the results of the people you listen to? Most of the people who are offering these kinds of services sure as heck won't have 20 years experience, won't have published hundreds of books, will not have generated tens of millions of dollars assisting people in this area as I have. So you've got to watch your results. And so, to me, the proof is in the pudding. All of the book covers and the authors that I'm going to talk about tonight are people who I have influenced over the past 20 years. And as Barry mentioned, what's the date today, Barry? What's the date today? It was April 2011 when we were there, and that was 20 years ago this week. Holy smokes. So for 20 years, I've been going around telling people, so all of the book covers that you see in this presentation are people who've actually come to the seminar, and the proof is in the pudding. And the proof is this: that you don't need to be a PhD in English. You don't need to be a multimillionaire. You got to make a decision. You're going to stop thinking about a book, and you're going to get it done. Some of you have been thinking about a book for 15 years. I can't believe it. You've got to stop thinking about doing a book and get it done. Well, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Like, what can you do to get this book moving forward? You know, the New York Times says that over 81% of the people feel that they've got a book in them and that they should write it. Well, you could think you should write it, but I think you should stop shoulding on yourself. As my friend Val Vanderwall used to say, and get the thing done. I mean, I'm telling you, no matter who you are, if you write a book, you're more credible. You're authoritative. You're viewed as an expert. It gives you instant credibility and authority and ability to influence others, make more money, open doors. I mean, there's just so many things that a book will give you. One of my clients wrote this book, Money Myths: What You Know Can Hurt You. He's a financial advisor. Essentially, he's a salesman. But when he sends a copy of this book or this book cover to people, they listen. A book is a phenomenal tool to increase your revenue. This lady, Ann Lim, wrote this book. She came to me running one night, and she said that she had earned $5,100 the night before. I said to her, how'd you do that? And she said, well, I took one of the strategies you talked about in the book, or in your course. She said, I was at a networking meeting. There was 800 women there, and 171 of them bought my book. I said, how's the book coming in? She said, well, I haven't started yet. And so, of course, if you take money, you have to finish the book. But the point is this: you don't have to wait till you physically get the book to start generating revenue from or because of the book. You know what's significant about the $5,100, folks? Anne told me that the most that she had ever earned in a single month was $3,600. And the night before, she earned $5,100, and that was in her bank because she used one of the strategies I'm going to talk to you about. So my mentor asked me, and I'm going to ask you, are you willing to do whatever it takes? You see, you've been thinking about this for way too long. You got to do it. You got to move it into action. And if you do, I'm going to show you how you can get publicity. I mean, this is a two-page spread in a national business newspaper in Norway for one of my clients, Oddman Berger. Oddman's a network marketer. Where do network marketers get this kind of publicity? When they put into practice the things that I'm going to talk to you about today. When they do whatever they got to do to get this book done. And that's what I encourage you to do. To create multiple sources of income, as my client James Geiger does. I mean, he's got an aromatherapy company, or business. I mean, the guy's a medical doctor, an anesthesiologist, a board-certified anesthesiologist, very, very prominent. But he uses his book to create a side business. You can use a book to open doors. My client, James Burgess, he's writing a book called Chaos, How Entrepreneurs Can Master the Power of Focus. When he sends his book, my mentor told me to give my book to the 100 most positive people in this city, and I hear you're one of them. He autographs that on the inside of the cover. Doors just swing open. So I think a book is so phenomenal today because of the consumer is so skeptical about anybody who sells anything. And so when you're credible, when you're authoritative, they tend to move toward you. They're fed up with pushy salespeople, and so whenever somebody comes along that looks like they're really, really authoritative and credible and got a good reputation and got their picture on a book, man, they move forward. Now, you can give people brochures and cards and all kinds of jazz like that. I mean, just look at these two images on your screen. One of them's a business card. The other one is a book. Dr. Lou Spinozzi is a client of mine from Denver, Colorado. He's an optometrist. So he uses his book as a giveaway as opposed to a brochure that he used to send. What's your business card? Do you know that a cost of a book like this is less than $2 or $3? But just think of the impact that it'll have on you. All right. Let's start talking about the 8 steps to success, and I am going to speed up. So first of all, step number 1 is you want to find a date. Not that kind of date. You want to lock into a particular date when you make an irrevocable decision that your book is going to get done by that date. See, you've been thinking about it for far too long. Get a date. Tell somebody who you respect. I mean, send me an email, and I'll hold you accountable. Because I know what happened. You see, I know what happened to me. I've been planning to write a book for years. I was speaking, and I knew that to become a speaker, let alone a high-income earner in any industry, you should write a book, and I was postponing because I didn't know what to do, and I didn't know how to go about it, and I didn't think I was smart enough, and I wasn't, I wasn't educated enough, and I was poor in speller and all this. So I just kept putting it off until one day I was invited to speak at the Toastmasters International Convention. Tom Peters, I think, was the opening speaker, and for some strange reason they wanted me to be the closing speaker. Well, I said to myself, there's no way I'm going down there to speak in front of 2,000 or 3,000 public speakers and not have a book. You know, folks, the minute I had that book, that date, I got the book written in 26 days. So when is your book going to get ready? And if you give yourself more than 6 months, you're giving yourself too much time. You're going to get sidetracked. So get a date. Lock into a date. The next thing, and it's really, really important, and that is decide on the objectives for your book. You see, the objectives tells us what you want the book to do for you. Typically, people, when I ask them what the objective of the book is, they're going to start telling me what the reader is going to get from the book. I don't care about what the reader is going to get about the book, not for now, because you need to decide what you want the book to do for you. Are you looking for it to open up doors? Are you looking for it to make money selling the book? Are you looking forward to starting a new career? Are you looking forward to changing your target market, opening up new markets? Are you looking to do more speaking? Are you looking to become an industry expert? Are you looking to use a book to sell yourself? Are you looking to the book for publicity? Like, there's so many different reasons, you see, but if you start with the content and let the content dictate what the book's going to do for you, you're never going to be as successful as you need to be. And let me give you an idea of the concept between objective and content. I was speaking in Los Angeles one time, a large crowd, 1,100 people. A guy comes to me at the end of the talk, says he's written a book of poems. He wants to read me his poems. I'm not really a poem kind of guy. So he saw that in my facial expression. He pointed his finger in my face, and he said, listen, these are not normal poems. He said, these poems are designed for men to help them connect with their male children. Wow, that's different. And he was very passionate. I said to him, well, I got 3 boys. Go ahead, let me read one. And sure enough, he reads them, and the poems were phenomenal. I cried, in fact. Is that a good book? Is that a good book? Yes. So I said to him, my natural question is, what's your objective? He said, my objective is to use a book to get publicity. Well, I said, dude, that book will never do that. I mean, you're not going to get on talk show because you've written a book of poems. I don't care how good they are. So I said to him, if you've got that objective, that's a great objective, and you have a great book. But that book will never accomplish that objective. No way. So I said to him, you got to either sell the book somewhere else, do it like maybe after, because I said if you want publicity, write a book called How to Make Sure Your Boys Don't End Up Like Michael Jackson. That will get you publicity. So you got to ask yourself, what do you want a book to do for you? So you might want to use a book to open up a door. That's what Christian Warren did with his book, Running with the Rhinos. You can use a book to get a better job. How many resumes are submitted with a copy of the book, like this degree book that you see in front of you right now? That book gave him a new job. Dr. Spinozzi wanted to change markets. You know, there's so many reasons, but you've got to think about what you want the book to do for you before you do anything else. Step number 3, you want to analyze your TPOP. Your TPOP stands for your target population, your readers. You want to analyze who is going to give you that objective. Because if you're writing for salespeople, you better write it differently than if you're writing for mothers or CEOs. And so most people don't think about this well enough. Well, when you come to my courses, you do, because even the font, you'll see on this diagram, these 2 book covers from 2 authors who were in my seminar. One of them's doing a book called The Baby Boomer Express, so they use a font that's very congruent to their target market. See, you want to make sure that you fully understand who the book is meant for. Okay, number 4, you got to get a jazzy title. Now, I know you think that this is crazy. I haven't talked about English or literature or spelling or grammar once. It's not important. I'll tell you what's important. marketing. Chuck Canfield says that it's 90% marketing, 10% content. And it starts with the cover, with the title. And so here's a couple of examples of people who have got very powerful titles who came to my seminar. Doctor, your medicine is killing me. This is by Pete Kusa, who's a network marketer. Now just look at that title. I mean, it's powerful. Now the other one, I'm not so sure about. But it's a powerful title, I'll tell you that. Step number 5. Folks, you want to design an awesome cover. You want to get a cover that really stands out. You've got 3 seconds to capture people's attention, and if you don't, you're going to lose them. And so just to give you a visual on the differences between the impact of a cover, one of the clients who had written a book, and many of people who come to my seminar are people who have already written books and published books themselves. I mentioned earlier, and I know that lots of people have come on the line, but my good friend Barry Spilchuk, who is one of the authors or co-authors of one of the Cup of Soup for the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, one of the first Canadians to be involved in Chicken Soup for the Soul, is coming to my seminar. He's a good friend, and he's sold over 500,000 books. He's spoken all over the world because of that book. So he understands the power of marketing and understanding the knowledge that you need to have, and the cover is a good example. So watch what happens. The guy comes to my seminar who had already written this book. After the seminar, I changed it for him to this. Now look at the difference. This one, the yellow one, is actually going to hurt him in business. This one, the after cover, makes him look like a superstar in business. Your cover is of vital importance. Here's an interesting cover. It gets a lot of attention for me and our company. Your doctor said what? Now, let me give you some different things. Well, first of all, I get this. I get asked this all the time. Is that me on the front cover? No, it's not me, just so you know. But look at some of the different things. So for the main title, a question is a good idea. It draws people in. An ultimate benefit or some attention-getting statement is important. I always depend upon a subtitle. The subtitle I use to sell the content of the book. It's really helping the audience identify with some ultimate claim, or, I'm using, like, take Millionaire Mindset, for example, which is my book. The subtitle, Millionaire Mindset, could mean anything, but the subtitle brings it home. How ordinary people can create extraordinary income. You see the difference there? It's a very powerful subtitle. A subtitle is a very powerful tool. The other thing is use high-quality images, ones that build your image, that are crisp and high resolution. Okay, step number 6, you need to get this thing written. And I'm going to give you my 6-step system on how to write a book in 40 hours. Now, I'm going to explain the system a couple of different ways. I'm going to show you. I'm going to go through this very quickly. And so you will have an ability to take notes, and I encourage you, grab a pen now, because I'm going to go through these 6 steps on how to write a book in 40 hours. I've taught this all over the world. Thousands of people have been through it. The published books that are part of my presentation or my clients will testify that it works. I've got video after video after video of people who said they never thought they could write a book so fast, so easy, with so much ease, but after using this 6-step system, they were able to testify that it does, in fact, work. So let me go through it. I'm going to go through it very quickly. So let's just imagine that you're writing a book on how to become a sales superstar. Okay? So you're writing a book to teach people how to sell more. So step number 1 says you want to get 15 major chapters or major topics. So you just grab a pen, you write 15 major topics. Okay? You could do that. You could do that probably in 5 minutes. Step number, so let me continue on the example. So you're writing a book on how to become a sales superstar. You write down 15 potential topics or chapters. So you just write them down. Here are some that you might write if you were writing a book on sales. You come up with a list of 15. Now, somebody said to me the other day, well, what if I can only come up with 12? Shut up, I said. Come up with 15. When you're making more money than me, you do it your way. But for now, do it my way. And, you know, sometimes forcing yourself to just do 15 could be the difference between a huge winner and one that misses the mark. So come up with 15. How many? 15 major topics. Step number two is you're going to cut the 15 down to 10, and you're going to put them in a logical sequence. So what that means is you're going to, first of all, you're going to eliminate 5. And I know that's tough, but you're going to do it my way. You're going to write down 10, and you're going to put them in some logical order. Now, what I mean by that is you're not going to talk about closing the sale before you talk about prospecting, right? It's going to be a natural order. Now, write this down if you're taking notes. Get it down, then get it right. Get it down, then get it right. Get it out of your head, man. You've been thinking about this for long. You got this block in your head because you're trying to do it all in your head. Write down 10 chapters and put them in this logical sequence. Just words. Now, I'm not asking you to write anything yet. I just want you to write down 10 chapter titles and put them in order. It'll take you 10 minutes, but you know, just doing that, you'll have done more than 99% of the people who've ever thought about writing a book. And once you do this, you're creating a skeleton for which the rest of your book is going to come, and it's going to come out easily. Why? Because the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take one chapter. So let's say we're going to work on the chapter called Attitude. You're going to look at that. All you're going to write is the word attitude. Now what you're going to do is you're going to write down 18 major topics or subtopics or ingredients in a chapter on attitude. So think about this. You're writing a book on attitude, or you're writing a book on how to become a sales superstar. Of course, one of the things you need is attitude. That's one chapter. Well, so you want to write down what are some ingredients that could go into that. Well, you just start thinking and you think self-esteem, self-confidence, happiness, let go of the past. You know, you just write down 18 ingredients. Well, that's it. That's it. That's step 3. And you do that for every one of the chapters. It's done. Now, step number 4. Same thing again. Cut them down from 18 to 15, and then put them in a logical sequence. That's easy, man. You could do that in 15 minutes. You do that for every chapter. Now you've got every chapter, you've got 10 chapters, and each chapter has 15 ingredients. Those are like subtopics that you're going to write about. Let me show you how you're going to write it. You're going to turn the ingredients into a significant statement. So let's just say in this case, one of the ingredients in the chapter on attitude is self-confidence. That's the ingredients. You just wrote down self-confidence. So the first thing you're going to do here is you're going to turn that ingredient into a significant statement. That means you're going to give it more energy. You're going to expand on it. So you might change that one ingredient to this. You've got to believe in yourself to win in sales. All right? So now what you've done is you've put some emotional energy, and that'll activate a different part of your brain so that you become more creative in doing what you got to do. All right. So the next thing is you want to turn, you're going to turn each of those significant statements into a question. So you're just going to take a statement, flip it around into a question. So in this case, you just add the word why. Why have you got to believe in yourself to win in sales? So you just changed them all into questions, the significant statements. And the last part is you just answer or come up with 3 answers or 3 little answer phrases for each one of those questions. So you're going to answer, why do you have to believe in yourself? So you just write down to get others to believe in you, to get referrals, to show what you believe in what you sell. Now here's the trick. The trick is this. You want to answer each one of those. You want to write for 5 minutes only on each one of those answers. See, if I told you right now, write down why it's important to have self-confidence so that you get others to believe in you. Just write about that for 5 minutes. Well, you could do that in a heartbeat. Anybody can write for 5 minutes. So how did I come up with 40 hours? There's 3 answers. Each answer you're going to write for 5 minutes. There are 15 ingredients in every chapter. So for every ingredient, you're going to write for 15 minutes. Then there are 10 chapters. If you add up all those 5 minutes, that is 40 hours. Now, we've gone through this very, very quickly, and you know, we're going to go into a lot more depth. But let's move on now to step number 7 of 8. So the next thing is you need to attract paying sponsors. That is, you can start generating revenue from that book right now. And here's what I want you to think about. I can show you how to get other people to fund the entire project by selling advertising or getting people to prepay for a certain small number of copies of the book. How do you do it? Well, here's an example of Larry Marshall, who was in my seminar. He's doing a book on weddings, so I asked him, who else wants to get in front of people who are getting married? He said the insurance agent, the doctor's house, the florist, all these different people. I said, well, sell them a page of advertising in the back of the book. He said, great. He raised $30,000. So somebody said to me, well, but I've never seen a book with advertising in the back of it. Well, shut up. Big deal. If I gave you a free copy of Millionaire Mindset and there was a couple of ads in the back of the book, are you going to get upset? Of course not. So what you want to do is figure out ways to pre-sell the book before you publish it. There's lots of different ways in the seminar. We spent a whole module in my seminar just on this section, because you could have a section at the back of your book called Resources the Author Recommends, right? You could sell one chapter in there. So let's say you were doing a book on weddings, and you asked a lawyer friend of yours to submit a chapter on prenuptial agreements. And he pays you a certain amount of money for that chapter to be included in your book. You could sell sponsorships by pre-selling a certain amount of books to the people who may be reflected in the book. So you might talk favorably. There's lots of ways, but you've got to focus in on the money, folks. Speaking of money, let's go to the chapter, or step number 8 is you've got to focus in on ongoing campaigns. You've got to find where the money is. I've had so many people tell me, and if one more person tells me that they've got the next chicken soup for the soul, I'm going to punch them. Listen, you've got to focus in on the money. People say to me all the time, well, I'm not focused on the money. I just want to get... Shut up. And it's a commercial venture, and you need to find out how to make it successful financially. And so there are lots of campaigns that you need to learn, and I cover lots of them in my seminar. But let me just give you a couple of them. Because I was an author, the first time I went to Australia, I sent the press release out to media. I did 5 media appearances. I flew in on a Sunday. On Monday, I had 5 media appearances on TV and radio. When I landed on Sunday, I had about 20 people registered for my free seminar on Monday night. After the 5 media interviews, I had 700 people that night. Now think about it. What you got to do is give away something for free that has a high perceived value but is not expensive for you to deliver. So in my case, I was giving away $99 tickets to my seminar, and they came in by the hundreds. You want to think about a lot of these things. For instance, if you look at the author announcement campaign, you could do this today. As a matter of fact, I suggest you do it. If you've made a decision you're going to write a book, do up a press release, send it to your local newspaper, and I'm not talking about the national newspaper. I'm talking about the little community-free newspapers that are in your city, your alumni association, your trade journals, those local things, and tell people and announce the fact that you've written a book and it's going to be released later this year. Get your cover design done first. Send that along with it. Give a brief outline of what the book is, and I'm telling you, you're going to get publicity even before you write a single word. And then what you do is you take that article that is written about you and your upcoming book, and you send it everywhere. Put it in the mail. Send it to all your past prospects, past customers. Let them know that you're becoming an author. Woohoo! It's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different things that you could do with a book to generate revenue. It's beyond me why people suffer financially. Give you an example in terms of a campaign. Susan Harley from Australia, she was one of the ladies in that seminar I told you about with 700 people. She's a massage therapist, decides to do a book. Her focus is on children. I had her change the book, add 4 little samples of fragrant oils. Now she's selling the books in places that would never normally ever take a book. So instead of making $5 selling a book, now she's making $20 selling a gift item. There's so many things that you can do. All right, I have exhausted my time. I want to tell you about my seminar. I mentioned it before. I'm going to mention it again. I'm going to take a couple of minutes to talk to you about my seminar. Those of us who do marketing, and there's lots of people on the line tonight, so you'll all appreciate this. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do this seminar to sell more seminar tickets. I say that, I normally do, but I don't for this time because the class is sold out. There are literally 2 seats left. There are, it's a smaller class this time, and the room is completely full except for 2. I had miscalculated, or my staff had miscalculated how many seats there were left. This morning they told me there was 10, and now they looked at all the things and the sales that came in today, and there are literally 2 seats left. So let me go through and talk to you about the seminar that we're doing next weekend, and which is April 29. It starts on a Friday night, starts at 7 o'clock Friday night, goes to Sunday at about 3 or 4, and it's a powerful weekend, I'm telling you. And like I say, I'm sharing it with you because I'm going to discount it like crazy because the sales will. I want the place completely full, and since there's only 2 left, I figured I can do it. So here's what happens on this seminar. Friday night we talk about a system, and then the module we're covering is Plan It. So we go into detail on how to get the right book, because some of you listening to me have more than one book that you want to sell, that you want to do. There's an order to this, and I'd like to help you figure out which is the best book for maximum financial return. I do talk about money a lot, and if you've got a problem with that, then maybe this is not the kind of seminar for you. Saturday morning, I cover how to write a book in 40 hours. You just got a 5-minute version of it. We're going to actually have worksheets and software and all kinds of different things to actually give you the tools you need to get your book written in 40 hours. Saturday afternoon, we talk about Publish It, where we talk about all kinds of things from, should it be hardcover, should it be softcover, should you self-publish it, what should you do, how do you get endorsements. I mean, my books have had 26 pages of endorsements. I'm going to show you the exact letters and give you the exact Word document I use to get those testimonials. All of the people that you see here have endorsed my books or spoken on programs with me because, and I'll show you exactly what I did for you to get those endorsements. Then on Saturday afternoon, we cover Fund It. And that is how to find cash to pay for all of this. If you're going to get a book covered, if you're going to get a book published, you're going to do it yourself. You're going to spend $2,000 to $3,000 on a cover. You've got to pay for layout. You've got to pay for graphics. You've got to pay for an editor. Sometimes you have to pay for a ghostwriter. You've got to spend thousands of dollars on printing. I want to show you how to get other people to pay for absolutely everything. I did it for Larry Marshall and hundreds of others. I'll even give you a DVD where I'm going to show you that you could play to people who might actually sponsor your book. Let me sell them. I've thought of everything, folks. Just an incredible opportunity. Then on Sunday, all day Sunday is focused on getting rid of the book. And I'm not talking about, selling God's book here and there. I'm talking about big money, way beyond just selling books. And that's what we're going to cover on all day Sunday. And on Sunday, we talk about campaigns. All of those I give you a step-by-step, it's actually a flow chart. You do this, and then 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 you do this. It's drop dead simple, but it focuses on generating results for your work, results like this. My client, Anita Jackson from England, I was doing a seminar there. She actually got her book published by us. She got a letter from the Queen of England. She sent the Queen a letter. Her book is about personal trauma, and I've got a copy of that letter. See, we talk about actual results. So in this weekend, the 5 sections are plan it, write it, publish it, fund it, and move it. Okay. Now here's where I'm going to blow your mind, because normally this class sells for $3,500. Now I'm going to give it to I'm going to allow you to name your price. Okay, so hold on for a second. Before I do that, I'm going to tell you about 3 or 4 bonuses, and this is going to play into this a little bit. I've never done this before, and I don't know if you've ever heard the seminar presenter do this. What I'm going to do is we're going to give you, if you sign up for our seminar, we're going to give you a free cover. I got 4 bonuses. One is a free cover. Many of you have heard that I was giving away free airfare to the class. Those are all used up because the class is full. But we will give you we'll design a free front cover like this for you. Seriously. That's part of the deal. You're going to be able to start using that in a matter of weeks. The second bonus is we're going to give you a second ticket. Bring somebody with you. The next bonus is you're able to reattend anytime we do these. How's that? So what's the investment? Well, the investment typically is $3,500, and we tell people that they can take the home study course. I mean, if they can't come here for the weekend to Toronto on April 29th, then they can get the home study course. It's binders and videos. And so what we're doing now is we're offering that for $19.99, and you take either the live seminar or the home study course. But I mentioned to you that so many people have asked that I got so much attention because I was offering to fly people into my seminar. Well, that's no longer available. It's no longer an option. So what have I done? I'm still going to give people all of the bonuses. Instead of the hardcover home study course, I'm going to let them come to the weekend workshop. If they can't come to this one, then come to the next one. They're going to get the whole home study course. It'll be a digitized version of it. They're going to get the cover design, the second ticket to bring somebody with them. They're able to reattend. There is no airfare, though. But here's what the price is going to be. They're going to get absolutely everything, the cover design, the second ticket, not the airfare. And the price, I'm going to let you name your own price. Now, I got 2 tickets. Okay, so there's not a lot of options here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to take action tonight. Of course, there's a money-back guarantee, whatever it is you pay. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Grab a pen. And it's going to be on a first-come, first-served basis. Here's what I'm going to offer. If you send an email right now, tonight, and you've got to do it tonight because it'll be gone, and if you're not a person of action, I don't want you to come to my seminar anyway. So you've got to be willing to make a decision right now and get on the phone with Jean-Guy, who will phone you back immediately after this call, and he will discuss with you what price you should pay. Now, of course, You know, because I'm not offering the airfare, there are some discounts that we can give. He's going to take everything in consideration, make him an offer, and if it makes sense, he'll say yes or no. And it's totally up to him. And I'd imagine by now, with all the all the people on this call, the emails are already being sent. I need you to do it immediately. First come, first serve. There's only 2 available. I need you to send an email to JGF at Black Card Marketing Group and put a question mark in the subject line, and make sure you put your name and your phone number, and he'll call you right back right away. Provided there's, you know, he's going to do it on a first come, first served basis. So as soon as that's done, it's done. You need to think about and be prepared. Don't send an email if you're not prepared to commit to a particular price that you two negotiate right on the spot. If you don't want to do it tonight, don't bother sending him an email. This seminar I've been doing, as Barry Spilchuk from Chicken Soup for the Soul mentioned at the start of this webcast. I've been doing this for 20 years this month. I know I can help you get your book done if you're serious. And if you're willing to do what you have to do, whatever it takes to get here next weekend, to figure out a way to make it happen, if you're that kind of person, I want to work with you. I think it's a pretty cool deal, too, that we're able to do this at a price that will fit in. You two negotiate what the deal is, and we'll go from there. I want to thank you for being on the webcast. I want to let you know that if you do have an email being sent, and Jean-Guy, they're on their way. So if you've got any questions, just go ahead and send Jean-Guy an email at jgf at Black Card Marketing Group, and he'll get the things answered and information to you right away. Look, on behalf of Jean-Guy and the whole team at Black Card Marketing Group and my good friend Barry Spilchuk, who is coming to my seminar next weekend, I want to thank you for being on the call tonight and wish you good health, good wealth. Go ahead and send him an email if you're interested. Name your price. All right. God bless you, folks. Okay.